We're live and stuff.
Stuart, we've got a new ship.
We do.
Well, we have two ships that are not new, but that are entirely new. It's somehow both yes and both no. Crazy.
I'm happy for it.
Yes.
Welcome back, guys. It's time to talk about Lower Decks. Season 5, Episode 9, Fissure Quest. Dun, dun, dun. Sounds so epic.
The answer to all of your questions.
Indeed.
Yes? Yes. Some, yes.
Maybe.
Maybe. This is the penultimate. I know it sounds silly, but I'm still kind of like, oh, are they going to announce like a movie right before, like right, you never know. I've got that in the back of my head, like they might.
I doubt it.
Yeah, but what a great time to announce a movie at the series finale moment. Coming this fall, the thing you thought was cancelled is not cancelled. It's like, is it not? No! Movie in 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, tomorrow! So what? What? Yes.
Indeed.
Hi, Stuart. Welcome back.
Hello.
And I am going to start sharing.
13 people here, 8 likes. Hit that like button, guys. Let's get those likes up. By all means, consider joining the channel. There's a join option here on YouTube, of course. And you can also go over to Patreon/Trekyards. There's an option over there to join also. Support us on a monthly basis really helps us out. One of the best things you can do to help us out, though, is hit like, share the video around, and super chat during these lives. We want to hear your thoughts and comments on this particular episode or anything we're talking about at the time. So by all means, let us know what is going on and super chat in if you're able to. We'd appreciate that very much. So other ways you can help us, of course, by consider joining the channel, as I said, or clicking the links down below. There are links to the Teespring and the TeePublic store. Lots of really great stuff over there. So use that link, go check it out, and yeah, appreciate that. There's some cool Trekyard stuff over there. This is going to be a fun episode to talk about. Hopefully you guys will have a lot to say. We understand now what happened with the fissures and how they were created and by whom, and it's actually really cool. It was a good episode, and I'm looking forward to talking about it with you guys. So hopefully you guys are interested in listening and putting in your own thoughts as well. So that's what the chat's for. Go ahead, talk to us. The ensigns of command. That's funny, Chuck. That's good. Yeah. Let's wait for him to finish sharing and we'll get into it. There's a lot to talk about. And also keep your eyes open for this weekend. We have a bunch of videos coming out, as same with next week. Lots to break down in this episode and look at and compare as Trekyards tends to do. So by all means, keep your eyes peeled for all of our videos. So make sure the notification bell is clicked to all so you get notified when we upload. I'll get to the super chats in just a second here, but right now we're kicking off. I'll let Sam come back and then we will chat about this awesome episode. And looky, there he is. I'm just gonna jump right into the super chats as there are a few. Ozzy, $5. Another starship coming in. It's another Defiant with Evil Kim. It's not really evil. I mean, he's just 2-pip Kim.
A category all to itself.
Yeah, it's never been seen before. Ray Ricks, £10. At a gig, so missing live tonight.
Oh no! I mean, yeah,
they did the thing and brought back Section 31 Boimler. Also, never thought we would get Jolene Blalock back. Also, Garrick and Basher, episode 10 out of 10, Lower Decks. Ozzy, $2. We're all going to die. Well, hopefully not Ozzy. Ray Ricks, member for 33 months at the rank of Federation Council, says also, I failed to give a shout out to Alfre Woodard. Such a great cameo. Oh yeah, it's Lily Sloan. Sessigura 2000, €5. If they stick the landing next week, this episode will be an easy 10 out of 10. Yeah, that's the thing with two-parters. Olivia, $5. Dang it. I just saved another Fleet Paw. Half the Trekyard sewer system is crewed by Fleet Paws. Oh, no. That's all right. Fleet Paw's a good guy. I can have a lot of him around.
Unlimited puns!
And there is a poll up. Is this the best episode of Season 5? Yes. No. Joint bests with one other episode.
Yeah, I threw another one. It's yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, guys, really put in your super chats, your thoughts, comments, questions. Your let us know what you think. It's definitely one that will create some conversation, and hopefully, guys, throw some support in so we can discuss what you want to discuss after and around and between all of our thoughts. There's a lot in this, and there's a lot of stuff for us in this as well. It's not a simple story with a simple whatever. It's filled with stuff. There's stuff going on.
How many times can he say stuff?
That was it. That was all the times I can say it. And now contractually I can't say it anymore. That's the end of my words.
Cool.
So Stuart. Hi. What did you think of this episode, and how did you feel after rewatching, as we always review these things right off the bat with first reaction? And some of it's kind of dense. How do you think the second time, and now having thought about it for a day?
It's much better the second time, or the third time even, and I absolutely love this episode. The fact that they got legacy characters back with the actual actors. It's funny because the first time I watched it, I didn't really hear Bashir too much. Third time when I watched it with Sylvia, kind of closed my eyes, and yeah, you could hear Bashir in there. He's just not as clear as the other characters. T'Pol doesn't sound like T'Pol at all to me, but that's fine. At least she's back. So yeah, I was listening for stuff like that, which changes after you watch it a few more times. Other than that, yes, it is very densely packed. It's a fun ride. It's just, I love the multiverse thing and alternate dimensions and stuff. I always say that, but this is really great. And to have Section 31 Boimler back, cool. An alternate Mariner as well. But I was also kind of bummed because we're missing our leads, our main characters of this series, because last episode was Upper Decks. It wasn't even about them. They were hardly in it. They bookended the episode. They bookended this episode, and they didn't have much to do. So hopefully the next episode kind of focuses on them a little more, because it is the last episode of not only the season but the series. But I really enjoyed this. I loved seeing all the ships, the idea behind it, the interdimensional travel thing instead of warp. I thought was really great. Cool way to explore. And getting Lily and stuff back was surprising and not expected, and I think it was really well handled. So yeah, kudos to Mike and his team. It's a great episode. How about you? What did you think second time?
So I liked it more, but as ever, it's because you then know what to expect. I still walked away with a similar overall feeling of, this is really great, but they crammed too much good secret sauce into one episode and left all the rest of the season out to dry a bit, because I don't see how they can top this next week. They're also not going to try, which makes this one a really odd, like they burned the light bulb 10 times as bright for 30 seconds, allowing the room to be dark the rest of the time, but then after it, it'll feel like an epilogue. Like, that's obviously from the perspective of fun Trek epic story, but next week will be about our lead characters. But unfortunately, as I said in the other review, Rutherford has been non-existent this season. Tendi had a bit of an arc and lost it, so they are not primary characters anymore in this season. They're not. So sorry, they're just not. Boimler's in this a lot, as is Mariner. They're absolutely fantastic. Both of them really do super good. So we already got them in this episode, so I'd be happy if these two were our prime Boimler and Mariner for the next episode. This is more interesting than the rest of the season so far, as a plot.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's likely we're just going to see next week and now we've got to deal with one universe-destroying hole, solved, cool, let's relax. It's like, oh, is that it? So it's tricky. This honestly should have ended with them warping, phasing through the anomaly and saying to our Boimler, Captain Freeman, we need to stop doing this together, as a dual thing, kind of give that extra oomph. Mm-hmm. And then you could have this giant ensemble piece where you know, how does Tiana work with Garrick? That's a great combination. Or as you'd said,
I was gonna say, and the old mariner talking to this mariner about,
mm-hmm.
you know, maybe you have some engineering skill or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you said in the other review, also, for example, say these universes are all a bit out of sync time-wise, so the message, like, gives them a week of leeway, so they get able to call some other legacies in to help bolster, you know, we need an expert in alternate universe radiation, it's 7 of 9, like, you know, to be able to kind of bring this giant ensemble and allow this, almost like, I don't know if you've seen it, but the Doctor Who episode with David Tennant, his last main episode before his specials, where they had like all of the companions from his era all on the TARDIS controlled together and 2 doctors, and it was fun to see them all work together. Like, none of them got a lot, but they all got something, and so it felt this big feel. And they were all so, every single one of the characters this week was rich, not just being our versions, but for being their own versions. So I'm assuming we're gonna like skip all that and focus on our primary 4, but they've not been strong enough this season, 2 of the 4, for me to necessarily want to see more of them. So that's what I'm saying. It's a weird mixed feeling. This is a really great movie episode, but it does not represent this season or the next episode. Unless it does, and I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
Which is ironic. I'm not reviewing the episode, just the concept of the season. It's weird, that.
Yeah, I really like that idea of the Axamender, or the Anaximander, whatever, going through and working with the Cerritos crew. That would have been great. That still might be the case. They might find a way to do that.
Yeah, it's very possible.
I think that's probably the best way to go, honestly. I'd like to see the Boimlers interact. But yeah, that's great.
Well, especially as you could argue, because as I said in the other review, it would be disappointing, because the other thing, they didn't plan this as a season finale, and they probably didn't rewrite it to give them a closing, because they might want to do more later. So there isn't going to be some giant, everyone gets promoted again out of low decks into mid decks. Don't think that's going to happen. But also, Boimler has let himself down this year by copying off someone else's homework. So he does not deserve, that's a bad lesson for school kids. Like, if you see an easy way out, use it and you'll succeed. So that's a really bad lesson. So my hope now, you've said all that, would be that this new crew do come through, because they've set up with the Catherine, so there's so much they've set up there they need to pay off. I want to see what happens to this Dax. Like, that's exciting to me, right? Yeah. Maybe the 2 Garricks meet. That'd be amazing. Oh, you fell in love with him? Yes, didn't you? Moving on. Like that. Anyway. But you could have this really great moment. I think this is a very natural payoff to actually 3 years of an arc, actually, where the Stubble Boimler versus Beard Boimler. Stubble Boimler is a success. He's a nice guy. He didn't go evil. He was obviously, his crew died, or he was entrusted a giant insane promotion for no particular reason. This mission, and he's done a great job, considering, right? Close all the portals, every one, that's him. Fantastic. At least in the multiverse. And he was being himself. He was always the same Boimler, just he had a slightly different path. But he was still the same, everything about him was the same, right? Yeah. So for him to meet the current Boimler, and for the long story short, the moral being, you didn't need to be him, this other one who you are not, who is not you, the Beard Boimler. You need to be yourself with more confidence, which is what I was. Because I could be this by being me.
Yeah, exactly.
And he shaves the beard in the end, the last scene. It goes back to the Boimler we know. And he's like, I won't be this other guy who I'm not. I'll be myself. That now feels like you need to have that moment. And it would feel very cathartic. Beard gone because it doesn't suit him that well. He's not Beard Boimler. He's himself. Thoughts?
Perfect. I already said that. That's exactly. Yeah. It would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be a good lesson for people in general. Yeah.
Sean O'Sullivan, £2, €2. Curzon named as tactical officer sitting at con.
Tactical officer? Is he tactical officer? I thought it was just guy at con who can also fire phasers. I mean, he's pilot that has weapons. I wouldn't say he's tactical. But obviously they're mix and matching crew a bit.
Let's get into it.
Yes.
So the opening scene is Rutherford messing with his thing and talk about transporter clones. We don't like. Well, careful, Rutherford. We only have one Boimler. Mm-hmm. And then the transporter clone thing comes up, and it's like, I wonder what he's doing now. And then we get this other quantum reality. So,
yeah, given it's been several years since they've gone there, I appreciate the quick reversal, but also the sense of, yeah, I came to terms with this. It's okay. I'm assuming that Rutherford's laser beam is going to be important because it's a really random thing to do. I assume this is help for next week. He can now laser beam.
I don't think so.
Whichever. It's a very okay beginning. Honestly, it's just in a nice way, it's a filler scene to get the audience back up to whatever. As we zoom into an alternate universe, I'm
going to read a super chat as we zoom into an alternate universe. The Threefold Path, £5. It shows how good a Captain Riker must be when you consider how competent the Boimler that stayed on Titan are compared to our Boimler.
Yep. There's very little difference between them. It was a coin toss, right, of who is who.
Yeah.
Which is why it's an interesting concept, right? It wasn't like Riker where he was then changed by 20 years of solitary. They went their own direction from their own volition. So I'm glad he was not evil. That was always the worry, it'll be evil Section 91 Boimler, but I love how they just didn't do that because they're not an evil organization.
And Boimler's not inherently evil.
No. But yes, they find the anomaly, and I'm sure you were thinking, great, we go into the plot story. There's no faff. Plot, story, answers. No wasting time. We're here.
Yeah, absolutely. Should have done it sooner, I guess, but it's fine.
And in fact, this probably would have been a better cliffhanger for the end of the last episode. To kind of give us 3 minutes more of like the story. It's fine, but that probably would have been a good way of ending the last one, whatever last week was. But we get to Paul in the first 4 seconds, and I was pretty happy because this is a legacy that you just don't, those that never return make it more satisfying to then get to them. So yes, T'Pol is back. She is much younger than she should be because she's married to Trip for 60 years. This is obviously way in the future of that anyway, so they never go into it, but they must be time traveling as well to universes at different temporal states. There's no other way to achieve this storyline. But she's sort of middle-aged. I guess Trip died and now she was recruited. There's a lot of very unknown story beats here. We sort of just say things and it's like, why is she there? Don't know. Where's Trip? Dead. Okay, maybe. I don't know. Where's the universe? I don't know. What are you here from? I don't know. Why not staff uniform? I don't know. But it's great to see her.
Yeah. We got a captain's log, the introduction to his crew, and I love that he says, I can't tell you what organization that recruited me, but there's no mention of Section 31, even though, yeah, as you pointed out, he's wearing the black badge.
Bit of a giveaway, Boims. Bit of a giveaway.
Yeah. But yeah, we got T'Pol, we got Curzon before Jadzia, and this made me mad actually last night on my first reaction, because somebody mentioned they could have had Jadzia there from an alternate reality and brought Terry Farrell back, which would have been amazing. And it kind of upset me that they have Shax doing the voice of this Curzon instead of Jadzia Dax. Just saying, that would have been kind of cool to see her back at the helm of a Defiant class ship, but it would have been cool if they had a Jadzia Dax and a Curzon Dax.
Or a Jadzia and Ezri.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I have both.
So yeah, we also get Surgeon Garrick. We get holographic Dr. Bashir. And we don't know yet, but we got a boatload of Kims.
Although not as many as I thought. As in the way they frame it, a crew full of Kims, but you see them all as like 7. Which is a lot, of course. But the crew's only like 14 people.
Yeah, it's not a big...
So they could have definitely, budget, right? They could definitely have pushed it way further for having more characters. It's fine, of course, just... although I thought there was going to be more with Kim. He's a sleeper hit in this episode of being... He's throughout... But you sort of forget he's there sometimes until he's the villain, which is amazing.
Yes.
But yeah, good framing. I love it being Curzon, personally. I think Jadzia would have been nice, but there'd have been 3 DS9 people, and that's not really as fun as spreading out a bit. And Curzon, you get to meet Curzon finally. That's really exciting. And I think the guy, Shax, he got some dialogue finally, proper dialogue, and he did a good job acting. But given this is not our Curzon, and we've no idea who he really is, can't take it as literal. But yeah, Klingon... It's funny, he's an ambassador, but ambassador who loves Klingons, therefore very fighty. Okay,
yeah,
not quite how I pictured Curzon, but he was dying on a table when I first met him, so I can be forgiven for that. And what do you think of Garrick being a doctor, not a normal spy guy?
Perfect. What better way to train your assassins than have them be doctors, so they know exactly where to hurt people. That kind of thing. So I thought it worked out really well, actually.
Yeah, I took it as literally he was just a doctor. I didn't think he was any of that. I thought he was entirely a different Garrick, which is why it's fun. He just is a doctor. He's a simple and plain doctor. There's no spy there. That's why he's in Starfleet uniform as well. He just is a nice doctor with the same wit and charm.
But they do ask later why your doctor fights, and he's like, old habits are hard to break, implying that there's something else there. So,
yeah, but it could still be a simple ever. I didn't notice this until now, but they're wearing different. I mean, obviously different universes. They're both in different variant uniforms. They do make a good point of that. But Bashir's in the sort of correct bluey green undershirt and a more purple shoulder and a different badge, and Garrick's in a actual blue with a grey shoulder and different badge. Love it. That's fun. Huh.
But they detect a Starfleet escape pod
from Voyager, as in Voyager style, which is awesome.
They beam on 2-Pip Kim.
The 2-Pip Kim, the first one I've met.
Yeah, the only 2-Pip Kim that's ever existed.
Oddly oblivious of the universes for being a science ops guy that was on Voyager for years, because that's all the same. So it's weird that he doesn't. There are more than one universe. It's like, well, you know, the Enterprise D found them, and you were. So, but it's for the audience, right? I mean, every universe is different, but that Kim should have known. All Kims should know, but that's okay.
And we got a Boimler recreating the Picard face.
We do.
Saying, I'm so sick of the damn multiverse. It was great. It's going to be a thing now.
Yes, with his just pressing stubble. But yeah, great Kim pack. That was a really fun way of doing that. Like, I thought they were going to be like prisoners for whatever reason, but the fact they are the crew is a really nice touch. And you know, Kim's enthusiastic young guys. Perfect. Yeah, do their duty, right? So they close the rift, which is interesting because this isn't our universe. So they're going to every universe because they're chasing the ship and closing the rifts as they go. So they're helping every universe as they go to try and catch, which is very nice of them.
Yeah.
Sure.
But as you find out now, other fissures open at the same time, so they're kind of never in the right place.
Yeah. Which also means that every universe they go into, there's one fissure that opens they aren't closing, that team, whoever has to solve, as in like that universe. Because that's what Arceridus was doing. Which is interesting, actually, because... Oh, that's interesting. We say that, but yet the Cerritos itself, in all the previous seasons, said anomalies are opening every few days. So are you really saying that Lily's coming to our universe constantly? That doesn't make sense.
No idea. They said they've been repairing them for months at the beginning of the season. So.
But Lily's in between universes, not our universe. Ooh, that's actually a plot hole on us next week. Ooh. That's like the Red Angel having 7 signals, only put 4 in the season. It's like, but you missed 3! Shit! I hadn't thought that. It's a big plot hole. Great sets. Great sets. Great recreation.
Yes, it's great seeing the Defiant Bridge again, for sure.
A little bit oversized, but that's because the lens choice. That's okay.
Yeah. This Kim is blown away by the fact there's more than 2 dimensions, and we get the reality that there are actually infinite amounts of quantum realities, much like a bubble bath. They're all represented by a sphere. Some are larger, some are smaller, which could indicate different time passing in each, different rates.
100%.
Anyway.
100%.
So yeah, they're just making sure that the quantum realities don't fall apart because of these rifts. So, and finding out who's responsible.
Yeah, because each rift being created damages the universes, and keep doing
it could be a hacky evil person, or somebody we all know, like Reverse Picard or Borgified Kirk, or I don't know, Human Worf.
Worst of them all, yeah.
I love his anger about it. Just lazy derivative remixes of people we already know and things we already see.
Which is funny because the people they picked for this episode are not the top of your pick list. T'Pol and Kim are ones that we would like as just intrigued fan people. But if you were saying, you'd say the main TNG cast or Janeway or whatever. So they did kind of go non-derivative with who they got in as the bringbacks. But I really like, this was obviously written a year ago, but that was already when the multiverse was tired. Think Multiverse of Madness from Marvel and other shows, etc. It's been a thing that's been hugely in the last 5 years, and this is tail end of it. But I really appreciate this approach to it, which is, for God's sake, it's dull. Like, the wonder is long since gone because the multiverse is not about inventing new, it's about seeing variation. And once you start seeing silly variations in your perspective, there's nothing there, right? You know, wow, 7 Kims and 1's a turnip. Okay. Doesn't matter, right? So I like this kind of fresh perspective until at the end you get the moral of it, which I really like. So I think Mike did a really nice, or the writer, Mike didn't write it, had a really nice way of framing this in a new way that kind of kept it new while still being now an old concept, both in recent pop culture and also just in the decades.
Yeah. I disagree though. I think multiverses are intriguing and fun, and I really like the different variations on things. So,
oh, me too. It's just other people bitch and whatever.
I know. Yeah.
Yes. Like, have fun with it. This is your excuse.
Then we get Garrick and Basher walking down the hallway. In another reality, I was a tailor. And Curzon and Kim, Curzon's like, oh, they like to talk about how statistically improbable their marriage is. You never get Curzon lovers coming through. It's great. But yeah, Garrick and holographic Basher are in fact married.
And for universes, which is worth saying.
Yes.
And it creates all the sorts of confusion because, of course, what? You can marry a hologram, you can love a hologram, you can... Layers, that's why it's kind of a wonderfully absurd thing. Because if it had just been Basher and Garrick, it'd be less believable. But the fact that it's so ridiculous kind of adds to the fun of it. Because you can't take it seriously. It's fun. And of course, like I said in another review, it leads into those that thought this is a thing. I never think it's a thing. I don't see it in the performance. But here you go. Here's your hit. Now, this is fan service, right? Some fans want to see this. They're being serviced with it. Except it's a hologram. So it's not really there. But it's, fun enough.
We meet all the other Kims. And it's like, did you get back from the Delta Quadrant? Or did you like, live there? I was like, no, I got back. Dude, told ya. They had a bet about it.
How many Kims made it home, yeah. There's also the old uniform, I guess you could argue, because most of them are the greys, which is nice. Well, I kind of thought we were going to get more variety in the Kims, since there is just 3 versions. It would have been nice if we'd had a TNG version. I mean, these aren't hard to draw, as in they've done them before. Very small note, but it would have been nice to, like, if they'd all been different, that would have been really fun. One's got blonde hair, one's got a tattoo, maybe one has got the Chakotay tattoo. Like, play, you know what I mean? Play it with it a bit. But one's a Borgified, like one's got a Sevens thing, but it's on the other side. Like, would have been nice, but they also want to keep it pure. Like, these are all basic Kims who are just happy to be here, which is one of the themes.
And Chuck A says, I think Jadzia will show up in the next episode. That would be great if we get some kind of Jadzia from another dimension that has the trill, and she mind dumps all of this Curzon's and Dax's memories into that one as well. So it's got like double the amount of...
Have you heard something, or is stating a would be nice?
Would be nice.
That's the thing. You could say Ezra would be nice, right? You could have all the different versions.
Ezra would be good too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So many varieties. But that's the thing. They've spent so much money in this episode because any legacy is going to outcost any other actor on the show.
Yeah.
And I can honestly see none being in next week just to save money, or like we've spent the money. But really, like, keep going. Bring those that make sense. Bring Paris to talk to our Kim. Like if that Kim had lived, it would have been amazing to have Paris come back and be the only one who can talk down to Kim, etc., etc. Right? There's ways you could have handled that and really like, oh wow, we're going further. Although, I want to point out briefly, I love that for 2 years in a row we've had Robert Duncan McNeil as the Voyager villain of the season.
Yep.
And Garrett Wang as the Voyager villain of one episode. Just gonna say, that's beautiful. Bit of Voyager love there. Because they're both great actors and they're both fully done year after year.
Yeah.
Yeah! Happy Sam.
But this Kim's a full lieutenant. He's like, wait, you're still all ensigns? That's fucked up.
And the yell is funny in the episode. He's got 2 pips! It's actually funny in that episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as I say later, like why weren't you promoted? Well, because they were Borg and like bad things. Like, it wasn't important. So I like with both sides of that. It's nice, and it does kind of show that him being the villain, that when Kim gets too much power early on, he goes a bit mad. That's the moral of the story. Promotion when he's ready.
Maybe.
He's ready.
We get a scene with Bashir and Garrick talking about which reality they're going to go back to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just basically a fight, which they're always fighting, which comes in later.
Mm-hmm.
So why do we always fight? Because it's fun. No, it's not.
Hey,
Just. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, guys, super chat your thoughts about the Garrick and Kims and such. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Now, didn't you think it was a bit odd, especially second time? Like, their subplot is entirely unnecessary. Entirely unnecessary. So it feels like a setup for next week. But otherwise,
Might be.
But that doesn't feel right either, because why would this be important for next week? But it's like, this scene is entirely superfluous. But it's nice. And though it's not normally known for just throwing in stuff that's not important, like really unimportant, I was surprised in second watch. There doesn't. They put a lot of time to these two.
You couldn't get these two back on the show and not have them have scenes together. So you have to write something, and it was kind of funny to see that relationship dynamic again. So yeah, I think it might tie into next week though.
It just doesn't. It doesn't do anything for this particular story, which is not normally. Otherwise, it is just bring them back just to tell this love story. There's no real reason, because it didn't have to be Garrick that got them out. That could have been anyone else, right? So I was just kind of surprised. They really went for scene. Normally, when you bring in legacies, they have scenes with the other cast, a la the DS9 episode, where our characters are with Kira or with whoever. That adds. This is entirely a separate scene. I was like, oh, okay, this is a bold choice. So there must be next week. Otherwise, why are we setting it up? Because this is all set up, right?
Ozzy says, "Return of Cisco." That'd be amazing if they get Avery Brooks back for the next episode to be the all-powerful Cisco that actually solves this problem, this multi-dimensional problem. That'd be great. Not going to happen.
Well, it's probably worse than Riker and Troy coming up.
A little bit. It steals the thunder, yeah.
Yeah, because that actually is like bringing God back.
Yeah.
Or if you post-credit and have John Delancey, Anthony Ainley, Avery Brooks and the Great Koala speaking on a table, like three,
as
like
a post-credit scene.
Yeah,
a post-credit scene. Yeah,
like that would be amazing. 3 god creatures talking. That, or even just Cisco and Q. That would be a really nice way to end the season.
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah.
And Sessiguro 2000 throws in €5. I think it's even funnier that this Garrick is a doctor, an Obsidian Order spy, an assassin giving an oath to do no harm. Well, he might not be those Obsidian Order. I would like to think he is. I think that's still an interesting aspect of the character. No matter what, Garrick is always duplicitous. But yeah.
Well, he felt different enough from our Garrick. There was a lot less baggage to his performance. It was far more gentle and flirty. With his husband, of course, but it was way lighter than the other Garrick. And there was no plain, simple doctor. Like, the hints at him being a spy were really not played on enough for me to take that into account. I just think he was a Cardassian, and just like some cultures, you are in the military when you're young. He was in the military, he left, joined Starfleet, became a doctor, great doctor, cool. Right? Like, they're all quite different from who we know, etc. But speaking of, how do you think about Alexander Sindig's performance as Bashir the second and third watch? Because we were both confused the first time. How do you feel on multiple watches?
Like I said, it sounded more like him on second and third watch for me. Again, it's a holographic version of him from a different universe, so let's take that into consideration. But I think it was better the second and third time for sure. First time, didn't feel like Bashir, didn't really sound like Bashir to me. But yeah, it gets better the more you watch it and when you know what to expect. That was my take.
I want to hear what you guys think. Did you think that Alexander Siddig playing Bashir sounded like that? Because I was the exact opposite, Stuart. I thought he actually sounded significantly worse the second time. I thought Sir Paul sounded better the second time. Now, these first 3 scenes, I was okay. But the second half, where Garrick leaves to the mission, he's like, "Hello, I'm all this and this." I'm like, that is not Alexander Sindig. That is a void. That is he couldn't film those reshoots, and that is some other guy. I thought this is the worst of any lower deck actor we've ever had. Returning the worst sounding version. He sounded like a sound like for over half the episode, and I was shocked if that's him. Don't know if he had a cold. Don't know if he was doing it over the phone. Not literally, but like there was something wrong there because he could not get the voice. I know he's 30 years older. It's a very young character. I know he's trying to be different, but I would not have told you it was as the last like 10 lines were him. I would actively put money it wasn't. And the second time was worse. Jolie, I was like, okay, I can hear you the second time more. But yeah, I was really like, this is not. Nah, I think that last bit's a voice replacement actor. Probably Nolan North or something. I was surprised, because he's got quite a distinct voice, and it wasn't here.
Mm.
I think in contrast with how good Garrick was, he was very good as Garrick. Like, he was right in. That flirty, that vocal, like, really zoned in. I think that was part of the contrast factor, but I was really disappointed by the Basher. I like Basher, you know. He's a cool guy. I don't know, weird.
But they're almost, next thing they're almost finished sealing the rift, and a shuttle comes through, which must have been at warp. And they do an emergency transport.
Doesn't have to make sense, move on. But I was very thrilled it was a TNG shuttle just for the lols. I've not seen it before in lower decks. Here it is, gets blown up, beautiful.
Yeah.
Little detail, love it.
And it was a great, Boims, is that you? I think it gets a hug, and it's like, Boims. I think that's T'Pol. Hilarious. Great moment.
Yeah, I was very... The second time I liked Engineer Mariner even more. I think she was a really good performance, and shows you how different she can be, Tawny, because in this season she's been herself, the Captain Mariner, who's very different, and Becky and her, and they're all really different versions of the same voice. Really liked how fresh this one was, as I said in the review. There's no baggage of the mum stuff. She's just an enthusiastic, happy, gentle person. And it's like, it's really just fresh. And it worked well with this Boimler. They had a really good vibe. And yeah, T'Pol was really genuinely sweet. And I was like, because she's mentioned T'Pol before, I believe. It was like an inspiration. It's like, yeah, that was... Oh, I wish T'Pol said hello. Or something would have been nice. To kind of like,
yeah.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Because she's the most famous person on the ship, right? And that was really good. Second time, even better, her appearing. I thought it was really, really nice.
Yeah. And we got a mess hall scene where they're talking about transporter clones. Oh, I got a transporter Riker. I got a transporter Troy. She was trapped on a planet for years. Yeah, it's just like my Riker. It's like, oh, my goodness.
Although, of course, it's not her Troy, because they're... All the many reasons, you know, it's not odd they would... Funny way to phrase it, because this Boimler knew Riker on Titan for a bit.
Yeah.
Small thing. Want to give him some giant credit, though, which I'm sure you noticed, but I just want to... Having done this set, they actually opened the goddamn windows.
Yeah, I noticed.
Because it's very, very little known that... I'm trying to find the wide shot. That, yeah, there are actually windows above those areas. But in the show, there's these giant red metal plates over them. Because, of course, they don't want to have to blue screen stars. And those windows aren't anywhere. There's nowhere on the ship those windows exist. There's nowhere they could be. But nice attention to detail. Canonize them as being windows versus just plating. That was really nice. Yeah. Really nice detail. Because I've textured that myself. It's like, oh, yeah.
And then she goes on to say, do you have a Rutherford and attendee? And he's like, yeah. But he's really sad because he misses them. Because it's the other one that's spending time with them.
And it's our version as well. So we have real, like, stakes to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, our people.
Yeah. And then he asks what her Boimler's like, and he's the best. He's still an ensign. He gets in his own way. It's just like our Boimler. And he wears a leather jacket at all times, even when he sleeps. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, kind of is.
And then we find out that the Mariners are nothing alike, because Mariner asks about her counterpart. I say, oh, she likes adventure and all this. And she's like, no, not really my thing. I'm not fearless or adventurous. So she's just into engineering. Anything that involves, like, plasma coils. Tinkering with plasma coils.
And that does feel like it pays off well at the end. I was kind of pleased how much that worked. Yeah, that was nice. I like that. And again, gentle. She's a really nice version. I don't think I'd like her in the yellow. But like I said, she's so fresh. Really well.
And we get the Kims talking about, have you sat in the captain's chair? Yeah, absolutely.
Night shift, guys, like every Thursday, Tuesday, and Monday.
Why did you guys never get promoted? Well, I guess between Borg infiltrations and aliens trying to steal our organs, it didn't seem like that big of a deal. We're just happy to be in Starfleet. It's like, people don't even know what ops does. We get overlooked. Yeah.
Yeah, that made me happy, because that's kind of a deep cut.
Yeah.
Of it's like, because think about it, what does Kim do? The answer is a lot.
He does like everything.
But what does Kim do?
Exactly, yeah. He stands there and looks pretty.
Yeah. No, that was a really nice little addition.
And the way they start panning away, and it's like, ooh, what did you guys do with your Tuvox? Like, I want to hear that.
Tuvox?
Yes.
Tuvix?
It says with your Tuvox.
Oh.
On the subtitles.
Interesting.
I thought it was Tuvix at first too, but anyway.
That was not a mistalk. That was a deliberate, cool thing you just said. Okay.
Unless the people that did the subtitles got it wrong.
I mean, they don't know what the hell's going on. But I really like the because the Kim arc is really gentle until it's not. But once the second time it's better, I think, because you see the descent into madness better. So yeah, I really dig. And it makes sense also that he's the center of attention in every scene because he's the only 2-pip Kim. So that was yeah. But I really hope Kim's in next week. Like we said this in our review, and we had a lot of good points in our review. It was a very long review. That again, I really feel that we need to see our actual Kim in next week as a payoff to this entire arc. Not necessarily meeting the Council of Kims, but like just himself. And either he gets promoted in, like he comes in to be the expert, 'cause he's good at stuff, right? To help with the anomaly. He comes in to help and gets promoted because of that, and make a lower dex promotion canon would be beautiful, or just in it as a Lieutenant Junior grade, so 1.5, and is useful. Because Garrett was great, but he needs to be in the next one. Like, there wasn't quite enough of him to as he said on Twitter, like 23 years, he's back. Like, you need that second episode, and he's a great bring into the main cast for the next one. I really hope he is. I think you kind of need that.
Yeah. And yes, Dominion Gamma. I heard Tuvix as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Each time I watched it, but when I got the subtitles, it says Tuvox.
I mean, let me listen now, because obviously they might have got the thing wrong. We can all listen together.
Guys, hit that like button. We have 46 people here for 36 likes. Hit the like button. Let's get up to 50 if we can. And super chat in your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, anything. Let us know.
Okay, listen to it now. I'll put the volume up when I get to the to the bit.
Just telling you what I'm reading on the
Everybody
screen.
gets promoted before ops. It's like nobody knows what we
Yeah,
do.
the ops line was really funny.
What you guys do with your Tuvix?
Nope, Tuvix. Yep, they say Tuvix.
Makes more sense.
Yeah. Then we get to Pol and Curzon. I don't know why this is a subplot, but it's a very heavy subplot. Like, they fully commit to Bashir and Garrick and to Curzon and to Pol. I don't know why it's this heavy-handed, but it gives it a real grounding. This is why it feels like they should have a part 2.
Yeah.
Because it's like they really have weight to these scenes, and it's so weird. Because why? Why do we assault Diatribe? We don't. But it's interesting.
I like his take on being a host. He's like, I'm enjoying life, and then the next person can learn something. Just getting the Dax to enjoy a whole life, and eating sodium was kind of neat. Log to the base 2 puts in £5. It's a great episode for you guys. So much for Trekyards to unpack. Great to watch. Thanks. Well, thank you.
Thanks
for
for
super
being
chatting
here.
and for joining us.
Yes, I'm being here.
And Sussy Guru 2000 throws in €5. Great joke would be the last scene of the last episode. Cerritos gets debriefed by Admiral Kim.
No. That's too much. You've got to be serious.
Yeah.
You could be Lieutenant Junior or Lieutenant. Like I said, it'd be funny if he goes from... Because, yeah, if the last... Again, this is the Enterprise problem again. But if he gets a scene where he's given the second pip, and then he gives us like a look of...
Yeah.
And that's all. That's enough to kind of tell, is our Kim going to go crazy? No. In 25 years from now, we'll work out what happened. Every 25 years, Garrick gets to come back and play.
And during this conversation, we find out that she was married to Trip for exactly 63 years. Last time it was just decades. So now we know for sure that they had a nice long life together.
And he was in his 30s, so 90s.
Yeah.
Fine way to die.
Yep.
She was very good for 130, though. But hey, good for her. Oh, so actually, so. Oh, and also you mentioned last time they say she's an expert in human. That's why she's there. What was the line you said?
She's a what? Sorry.
Expert in human emotions.
Yeah, an expert in human emotions. Yes.
She thought was kind of a funny way of phrasing that.
Yes, because she was married to Trip Tucker for decades. She was an expert.
He's quite.
They're expert in human emotions.
63. So at the very least, she came from 2216. Okay, so she's getting close to TOS.
Then we get back to Rutherford. Or sorry, okay, Boimler and Mariner, and it's like, why did you have your own shuttle? And she was investigating the anomaly for radial tachyons.
Was it a temporal anomaly?
No, it was not.
I mean, maybe.
But she didn't know that the rifts emitted radial tachyons instead, and that's when you can't warp through those. They make your engines explode. So that's what happened to the shuttle. Now we know. Was she warping into the anomaly? Like, that just seems weird.
I don't think we're meant to know. Although when you said that, and then exploded. Yes.
Yeah.
And I really like this, because the episode is a very gentle pace up until this point. And it's like, bam! Oh, we've got the solution. But it feels right, because we introduce a new element, Mariner, but we know Mariner's great. That worked. And then she says it like it's nothing, because obviously, unless she has a ship that can chase it, how to chase it is not useful, but they can force...
Yeah.
I really liked this as a... Not I'm trying to brag, but this is how I would tell stories, like have these very clever shortcuts that can let you skip some scenes while telling a story. So I really like the way they handled it.
Like how she just nonchalantly says, now I can track whoever's been screwing up the multiverse. He's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed that as a little moment.
Susiguro 2000 throws in €10 and says, I also now want an episode about T'Pol dealing with the Trill Katra. That'll pay off in the next episode, I'm sure. We saw how Picard went insane with Serix. I wonder how a Vulcan would react to several lifetimes of experiences and personalities. Well, I think it's going to have a good payoff in the next episode. That mind meld information, the Katra stuff, is going to be given to somebody else. That's going to be the fun part. Is it Ezri? It'd be cool to have Ardax have all of Ardax's experiences and all of this alternate realities, Dax's experiences as well. That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting. I hadn't even thought of that. Having double Dax.
Yeah.
Double Dax on you.
Thank you. God.
Thank you. Yeah, I that's the problem. It's so interesting they went full force that where they're going to go. That's why I said, if they announce a movie or a one-off TV event of like this crew after this, I'm like, yes. But also imagine episode 1 was this episode. Right?
Yeah.
And then you could see this crew throughout the season doing missions. That would have been spectacular.
I just figured out what they're going to do with the next episode.
Yes, okay.
Reading this next bit of dialogue. Remember how we started out with him trying to sync his Oculus to the ship?
Uh-huh, yeah.
And it was malfunctioning. You didn't know why?
Lasers.
Listen to this dialogue and tell me that Rutherford's not going to be the solution to the problem next week. Back on my Cerritos, I was trying to figure out why the entanglement processor kept needing a reset. Turns out it was something up with superposition, the transdimensional rifts. So on her ship, the thing kept needing to be reset. I wonder if that's going to be like Rutherford's implant, because they've been closing all these anomalies. It's doing the same thing to him. And maybe, I'm just saying, maybe. Because you mentioned that, like, will that come back? And I was like, no, I don't think so. But now after reading that, maybe. Because there's a reason they showed that.
Yeah, it was so weird. I mean, you don't have laser beams from your eyes. That'd be useful every other episode, right? I mean, that's a... Yeah, love this bit. Yeah. A great shot of the Not Defiant. A great bridge shot.
The Anaximander.
Yes. And again, just take into account, this is what we kind of thought Lower Decks was going to be more of. It's a alternate Boimler in the grey uniform with a Discovery Black badge, with T'Pol in an Enterprise Era Vulcan uniform, Mariner in an alternate uniform, and Curzon bloody Dax, who's not dead, on a Defiant. When we started with Cerritos, these Lower Decks people, and like, are they even going to show the uniforms? And here we are with this. Like, this is what we all thought they were going to do more of. And I wish they have. They've committed more to their own bit, but this is the freedom they have that no other show did have.
Yeah.
And it shows you how good they... You know, if CBS was giving them more money to hire more legacies, and you have like one every 3 episodes, right? Every 2 episodes, you could have brought so much fun and still have a good core story. Because as I said in another review, the legacies don't overshadow Boimler or Mariner here. They really do an excellent job against legacies because they're just used cleverly, not even with data, right? They've so it's annoying.
Threefold Path says, I certainly hope Rutherford is involved in fixing it as his character needs some love. 100%, especially in this season. Yes.
And that's absolutely, yeah. He's going to be a wonderful catalyst to kind of justify,
yeah,
in a good way, right? Yeah, give him a reason to, yeah. No, I think that's a very fair.
But they show all the technobabble of how, when they create a new rift, it creates another one elsewhere. So they've always been going to the wrong rifts. Mm-hmm. And they find a way that they can create their own rifts and bring the ship that's creating the rifts to them.
It was a little bit technobabbly. I didn't quite get it. I'm quite good at this stuff, but second time was a bit better.
Ooh, there's a close-up of the Axamander, or the Anaximander, sorry. And it's an MSD. You can see all the decks.
Yeah, there's some weird MSD shit happening that we'll talk about. Boy, I made some deductions there. But yeah, I love this. Really easy solution, and it happens within minutes. And they fire. They fire the alternate universe beams from the pulse phaser cannons, which might explain why they're not pulse phaser cannons. I mean, makes sense, right? Forward-facing beam emitters make them because they're blue Bassards and they have no pulse phasers.
But yes, the trap is set. Let's see who comes out.
Now, I don't know if you thought this briefly, that I'm sure that the reason for this and later on, the alternate universe tech is green is a reference to Rick and Morty and might work on Rick and Morty and their alternate universe tech being green. It's had a very similar vibe. I think that's got to be a little reference because of all the cars you could pick, all the vibes was like super similar. Because he worked on the first season, like that's where he started. Exactly. So, yeah.
I love when Mariner says, "Are the shields raised?" Because I have a feeling this is like calm before the storm type sitch. I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to see what comes out. Anything that comes out of that is going to be amazing."
You would not have put money on anything that was right. Although I just realised Mariner, because I also did text her this entire bridge LCARs. She's currently tapping on isolinear chip bay. That's not how that works, guys. That's not something you can tap on. Just
oh well.
They mistextured that slide because they clearly just put shit on. They didn't.
Yeah, because you look on the next slide, where Boimler's sitting in the chair like this. She doesn't have that on that panel. You can actually see all cars there behind T'Pol.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. Just Anyway, yes. And what do we see? I instantly knew what it was, which is kind of depressing given that's the shot we saw. And I knew what it was instantly. I'm like, that's the ring ship! I should know this stuff. That's silly.
I'm glad it wasn't the Enterprise, though. The XCV-330. I'm glad it was the USS Beagle instead. I'm glad it was something else. They could have easily have made it the Enterprise as the first interdimensional ship or whatever, but kind of glad they didn't. And yet, somehow a little bit disappointed they didn't as well. So.
Okay, so what did you guys think about the ring ship? Because I really want to know what you guys think. And it's one of those things where, at this point, we'd had enough legacies, right? I wasn't necessarily thinking who's on the ship. I thought it would be someone from Lower Decks, honestly. I wasn't thinking that far ahead. But had it been the actual Enterprise with Archer, that also would have made... Because he's a test pilot, right? And it could have been the NX-01, but like called the TS-01, right? That would have been... And that would have paid off well to Paul's Archer comment.
Yeah. He's the OG Starfleet nerd. Yeah.
Although he does sound a lot older. But I mean, Lily's a really fun bring back, of course. But Archer would have been certainly to see the first warp, and then you make some joke literally it's I'm the captain of the first multi-temporal, multi-drive class 5 ship. It's like first warp 5. What's that? Really ham it up. And I would have also, again, this is me if the next episode, if it had been Archer, and this had been the equivalent of the NX-01, I'd have recreated the launch sequence from NX-01 Broken Bow with this ship, and just really ham it up a bit, because that would have been a really fun way of, Anyway, but yeah, great design. We've talked about it. There's an episode coming out. Really, really fun to record. Really nice twist, and instantly it's not a villain, is it? It's not going to be some Klingon bad. It's not Pakled. It's not Romulan. It's something simple and neat. And no shields, which is a really interesting point I think Pil could have missed. but No Shields says this thing is actually from the 2070s or 29s. This is actually from, or 2110s, right? Yeah, this thing is, yeah, it's cool.
Anyway, they fire at it and disable it because it doesn't have shields. And it makes another rift to go through, and Curzon fires at it.
Yes.
Which is not a good idea.
Yeah.
And we see a phaser strip on the front of the Defiant class that we've never seen before.
Well, it's a grill. That's our phaser strip. It's
Yeah.
Like, Huh? Now, it does a lot of humbling. Am I right or am I wrong that they are telling us here that when you activate a rift, there's an in-between rift?
Looks like it. Looks like no null space or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because they say we can't fire here, as if there's a place between the rifts. Now, I'm fine with it if this is the actual correct rift with the actual correct way of travel, but that was a new thing they just introduced and then left. A small note, but it was an interesting thing to have. Oh yeah, I love Garrick saying Kims are stronger than they look. Oh, what a fun thing to say!
Yeah.
You couldn't write that stuff. It's like, oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Threefold Path puts in 5 pounds. As a huge fan of Enterprise Vulcan ships, I am a sucker for anything with a ring. And as a Star Wars fan, I'm also a sucker for articulation. Yeah. And Sussy Guru 2,000, €5.
Thank you.
I'm happy that there was no grand villain this season. We've had enough of those. Oh, 100%. Yeah. This just being accidentally causing issues was great.
It's not the same, but it's kind of the same. It reminds me of parallels to the season whatever of Discovery. The guy screamed, like the simplest. He caused a thing without meaning to, so it wasn't a villain. It's not the same, of course, although you could argue that the tech has now potentially killed our entire universe. That's quite serious. And we've killed every universe, so actually it's more serious. But yeah, I absolutely adore the fact it's not a villain. It's really simple. But as I said, it creates plot holes for the rest of the season with how they're generating a rift every week if there's one.
Yeah. We get Kim being treated, and they're having an argument about wines, how his Riza has 1 moon, the other one has 2 moons, and it's like just unilaterally deciding where we're going to spend our lives and whose reality. It's like, anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
fight.
Again, real commitment to this bit. It's weird. I like it.
Yeah. It just ends with, humans, not you.
Yeah. And the Riser thing's fun as well. I mean, that's the thing. Using, you can invent Tyrella 6, but saying Riser, adding a bit of that visual to our head, just adds some nuance to it, which I liked.
Well, Rysian wine, we tried some. Had a taste test in Vegas with Aaron Waldkey. It was great.
Very good day. Very good day.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Garrick was great in grey. I know it's not really Garrick, it's not really grey, but he suits the grey.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're now going to have at conventions. Isn't it Andrew? Garrick?
Andrew Robinson.
Yeah. If you now have pictures of the animated him, they can now get signed. It's a whole new thing. Why not, right? It's just, you do a few lines and you can sign your animated self. I do love Curzon being I've got to get them, Captain, because Boimler's not that experienced, right? Curzon is very experienced. So I thought it was a really nice little... Because if they hadn't have shot it, considering what happened, it was a very small damage they did, and they both were fine, so it was a good choice. But Boimler's like, ugh, as long as they didn't destroy it, and ugh. Pretty funny. And then we get a small Archer side, which I was supposed to go somewhere. It doesn't. But it's nice. They definitely wrote this episode as if these are more fully 3D characters and they need to be in the story, which means that there's wasted dialogue, but it's nice to have.
Yes, it absolutely is nice to have.
But if it's only one episode with them, then it's like you could have made them all be more meaningful. So I'm hoping they're in the next episode. I'm hoping it's an extra long episode next week at like 40 minutes, and there's these guys again. Because you had the best point yesterday. You resolve the main plot in 15 minutes, then you resolve the whole rest of the stuff. So if they give 15 minutes more because this ABS would pay for it, then you can, yeah. Who knows?
Then we get a really cool thing that's great to see. A Defiant class landed on a planet. Don't really see much of the landing legs or anything yet, but it's still cool to see. And you got the little figures there as well to kind of show size.
I mean, that's our bread and butter, right? Like, understanding scale and stuff. And it's such a fun visual. Because I wouldn't have thought to write this, but obviously it can land, although we extrapolate in our other version. This is a landing configuration. I mean, clearly this thing can travel dimensions, right? But this is a landing version, which I love the fact that the different Defiants have different mission profiles. Why do you need a shuttle bay for a warship or an assault ship? You don't. But I love that they would be different and you can have different versions. Really fun, yeah.
Oh, and then wild planets are the worst.
I like that.
Yeah, but they run into one of these guys, the Quappa.
Who I did remember. Who I did remember from the previous episode. So I was like, oh yes, those guys.
Yeah.
Can't remember when.
They're really nice, apparently. Not so much. Anyway,
good little twist.
They all get taken down and taken prisoner. But yeah. Hit like, guys. We have 43 likes and 50 people here. Let's get to 50 likes. There's 7 likes would be amazing.
But yeah, fun little.
Open the poll.
Oh, do you want to do a new poll? This is obviously quite a good multi-poll sort of story.
Let's 51 votes. Yeah, let's send it here. Is this the best season of season 5? Yes, wins with 75%. No, 10%. And 16% joint best with one other episode. Interesting.
Okay, that's okay. So a secondary question based on that.
Okay. Yeah, super chatting, guys. Your thoughts, feelings, anything you want to mention to us. We do read them all, so make sure that you do that. And yeah, hit like. It's one of the easiest ways to help us out. We only need 6 more to get to 50, which would be amazing. So if you can, please do. All right.
Oh, Stuart, do you want to talk about our drunkyards on today? Since we've got people here. It's roused.
We might be doing a drunkyards on Sunday. It'll be Sunday afternoon for probably 3 hours at the most. So please come and join us for that. And we might do one the following weekend as well. So keep Sunday open.
Yeah, assuming this is our big drunkyards of the end of the year. Hopefully do a second one, maybe a third of Marie will seeing. We want to celebrate Christmas and Low Decks and all these fun things with you guys. That's really like, yeah. So Sunday, jump in and say hi.
Indeed. So make sure you're subscribed and click the notification bell so you don't miss it when we schedule it. So. All right, they're talking about how the Koalapians are too cute to be mean. At least they aren't trying to drink our bones. Nice little Moopsy reference there. And then Mariner's freaking out because she's never been in a prison before. Where our Mariner, it's one of her favorite places to be is in the brig. So just shows you how different this Mariner is. Who knew a race of Axolotl would be hostile, right?
Yeah. Anyone's mean for any universe, it's fine. But yes, new poll!
Let's see here. Is this an amazing episode for the big reason for that is bringing legacy actors back, the epic story, or paying off Section 31 Boimler?
Yeah, because is it just amazing because they brought 5 legacies back? Or is it amazing for other reasons? So I want to know. I want to know what you guys think.
Yes.
I mean, all the above is a fair reason. But if you had to pick one, I want to know.
Yes.
I want to know.
Hit like, we need 5 more likes.
Then we get a lovely little scene of Mariner being so nervous she's never in jails. Loved it. It's really sincere. It's just really nice. And I really like the Kims are in, all the lower. Why are we in our own prison cell? Because we're obviously the two people like because they think we're idiots. They hate us. It's like no, because you're all the same person. It just kind of makes sense, right? It's same face left, new faces right. It's fine. But I like that. It's a good little foreshadow. And then, kind of out of the blue, because I assume there's going to be more lead-in, we get all the reveals over the course of the next minute.
Kind of out of the purple, because Lily's wearing the purple. And some of them are wearing the blue, which is nice. Yeah. I never noticed it. A lot of people did notice it when I did my first reaction last night, so...
I told you. I did warn you.
Yeah. Anyway, we find out, Lily Sloan. Well, Mariner doesn't recognize her at first. She goes, you look familiar. Mm-hmm. Wait, that's Lily Sloan. She helped invent the... Well, we don't get that yet. Sorry, jumping ahead of ourselves here, because we got to see the aliens rummaging through the ship. And Garrick, of course, still on board.
I like to just, eat the curtains. Whatever the fun. Little fun side note that you might not have caught, as in the audience. I like the fact that we get so much Defiant in this episode, but that's also a reference to how they used the Defiant back in the day. So they only built so many rooms. The sickbay and the mess hall are the same set with redresses. So it's the exact same physical set, and they just built a new console. And so, because you only see one wall in the mess hall scene, and then only this other wall here. So they actually have, let's have 2 full sets while only building 1 physical set with some tweaks. Yes, because I don't remember the Defiant mess hall fully. It's obviously in some, but it's always in close-ups. So I really loved seeing it's the same set, just redressed. Yeah. Defiant. And Garrick skulking in a place that clearly can't fit him is great. I wonder if that's a reference to him being able to squeeze into... Being
claustrophobic and having to squeeze in there, yeah. That's what I thought too.
And first time I didn't even think about it. Second time, he has a mobile emitter. De hell?
Different universe. Who
29th
knows?
century tech just happens to be in his pocket. That was it. I know it has to be there for, I guess, next episode, because otherwise it's not really... I don't know, because, why is it a mobile emitter? And why did he nick it from his universe? Now, if you assume it's for his husband to be corporeal, why isn't he always wearing it? Why would you not want to wear it?
Because the last time we saw them, Basher said, hope you enjoy sleeping on the floor, because I'll be using the bed tonight. So when they got home, he just took the mobile emitter off so that Garrick could sleep in the bed, and Julian would be off. I don't know. It's a good way to win a fight.
I'll be in the computer. It just occurred to me, this is a really big throw in to have, and it's that's the one 20th century tech they have. And he just pulls a phaser from a drawer.
Yeah. And Stanley's, I hope we hope that the next episode is extended a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, feels like it needs. And this is why I thought Bashir, nothing like Bashir. This scene, I was like, that is not Bashir. He's high-pitched English like this. It's oh. It's that's not. Just rewatch this one scene without any context. He's not. I think that was a voice actor came in or something, because it's really odd. And a kiss. Way. And then Garrick off and doing Garrick cool things. Even though ironically now Bashir could leave too, because he's got a mobile emitter. Whatever.
But now we find out that, yes, it's Lily Sloan, and it's you're evil over here. Well, clearly she's not. You helped Saffron Cochran create the warp drive, and he's like, we didn't create a warp drive. We built an interdimensional drive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, hold on. She says, I don't know what a warp drive is, so they don't have warp. 100%.
Oh, yes. Because we had 2 different debates about this.
Yeah.
Which means the Vulcans didn't have warp either.
I guess not.
Interesting.
But Zeph did help me build our quantum reality drive.
That's fancy.
Yeah, so they're just exploring different quantum reality drives, same as Federation. And I love how it's why didn't you tell anybody? We have directives which dictate ethical boundaries to contacting societies who can't cross realities on their own.
Yeah.
It's great. It's their own prime directive. Sasaguro 2000 throws in €5. I'm sure they just mass-produced the mobile emitter after Voyager got back. Well, it's still advanced tech.
You can't just do that. I'm sorry. It's like saying, oh, in the 1910s they just mass replicated a Tesla. No. They couldn't even understand how it worked properly, let alone
you still got to make the components to make. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Just because you have a battery doesn't mean you can make a new battery. We've had this debate many a time. It doesn't equate. So those that don't know, of course, Lily is wearing a purple uniform and everyone's wearing a blue. Now that is a very fascinating deep cut reference. Beyond the fact that you can argue that command officers get purple in this universe, that's fine. You could say that, right? But in reality, I assume in reality, it's because the actual costumes, uniforms on set were actually a sort of muted dark purple, but on screen they read as blue. So we all associate them as being blue. But as soon as you own one or see a cosplay in live, in person, you're like, oh, purple, it's a real one. So they kind of did both, which is a really nice touch. Because why not, right? So yes, how did you feel seeing Lily from Star Trek First Contact, who's not been around since almost 30 years?
Didn't give a shit. Didn't give a shit. Never liked Lily, but I really liked her in this one. So
okay.
Trying to turn the character around for me a bit. It's nice seeing an older Lily. You can definitely tell it's her by the voice. And I do like the uniform. I like the little patch on her sleeve as well. It's an interesting, really nice. It's an interesting idea for sure. So yeah, but yeah, at the time I was like, who the hell is that? It's like, oh, it's Lily Sloan. It's like, oh, okay. Let's see how this plays out. And by the end of the episode, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of glad it's Lily now. So, but yeah, again, she would be super, super, super old.
Just a bit, yeah.
So there is some time shifty stuff going along with these quantum realities. Yeah. So,
which, I mean, Intima Darkly showed Mirror and Prime. Well, I guess it was an anomaly. I don't know. There's some weird stuff, and this would be. I mean, I'm sure Mike knows the answer. How they're traveling across the universe without warp and across the years without time travel. But we don't know until we get there. Yeah, for me personally, like, obviously I know who Lily is as a character, but she's a very distinct person in that movie, and not something I ever needed to see again.
Yeah.
And obviously this is not our Lily, this is a very different universe Lily, especially since we as Starfleet helped them do warp. And I'm not willing to assume that in their universe, a universe time traveling Enterprise E went across the, you know what I mean? Like, so they did that by themselves without the Borg, without us, etc. Didn't recognise it was her voice, but I don't know her voice well enough, honestly, to recognise her voice. And she was much younger then. 30 years. I don't know if you could play them side by side, they would sound the same. Except thinking, oh, she's much older. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have noticed it was her. Like, if she didn't look like Lily and said it was Lily, I'd be like, there's an actress.
Yeah.
It's lovely. But, you know. But as a character and as a story, great shout. Really, like, random inspired. Just. But it's simple and makes sense. And it's fun.
Yes, indeed.
And I guess it makes you wonder if the Lily we know went into Starfleet? If this Lily did, why wouldn't our Lily have joined whatever Starfleet they happen to build?
Hold on a second, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We never learn, so I don't know how to think. Well, as Stuart said in a other review, the Vulcans are with them, so they did meet Vulcans, but she doesn't know what warp is. These are non-warp capable Vulcans who still first contacted with us to meet us, but not with warp drive, the alternate universe drive, which doesn't travel through space. Interesting. Confusing. Yeah, don't know. But yes, vote in the poll. Interesting. 27 votes. I want to get at least 30 votes. Come on, guys. 30 votes. There's 45 of you. I should really see 40 votes, shouldn't I? So vote in the poll. Is this an amazing episode 4? And this is the big reason if you had to vote. Bring legacies back, the storyline, or paying off Section 31 Boimler. 28 votes. I want to see 30. I want to see more votes. And if very pleased to report, guys, that I have another Star Trek fan film releasing this weekend. This has been a spur of the moment, as it were, film. It is relating to the Unification short created by Otoy. So it's a very special short film. It's not 100% done yet, but the pre-release has been out. Got some lovely reviews. A lot of hard work, a lot of rendering, a lot of fun in that. I would love you all to go and watch that and share it, because I made these films to be seen by you wonderful people, and I think you'll get a lot of... it's kind of similar to this episode, some from the tone. So please check it out tomorrow.
Sorry about that.
Vulcans. Doesn't make sense to know Lily and First Contact and all that jazz. That's what I got.
Yeah.
You had a great point about that.
So they don't have warp. She doesn't know what a warp drive is, she says. Yeah, it's fucked up. Anyhow.
Weird, eh?
Yeah, their captors don't like them talking, so he's like, just let us go then. It's a little bit of a scuffle, and then Garrick comes in and saves the day. He's never been one for face-to-face combat, but... yeah. Love Garrick, man.
Easy out. But also he's fighting, like, lizards with no weapons, really. So this is fine.
Yeah, he's our doctor. It's like, why does he know how to fight then?
That reminds me of the famous quote from Stargate SG-1, where there's a scene where it's a time loop episode that we all love, and Jack says to the alien who has a laser like a laser gun in his bag, it's like, oh, archaeologists. What archaeologist has a weapon? And then Daniel's like, me. Bad example. And then there's a great meme of like kind of River Song, gun, and like loads of fictional characters who Indiana Jones, gun. So it's like, what doctors train in martial arts? I mean, it's just part of Starfleet training. It's like it's fine. Like, just what do you mean? So just a little note. Like, it doesn't mean he's a spy. He's just trained in normal combat and then probably liked it.
Yeah.
I love the every scene foreshadowing Kim. It's a really nice, gentle lead-in. I really like that, and especially the second time.
The eye squint.
Yeah. Oh, I love the landed ship. It's so nice landed. It's such a good... Yeah.
Never think a ring ship could land, and if you did, you would not assume that way. But yeah, I love that the ring splits and does that.
I don't think for a second the original ring ship could, because we worked out how it did it exactly, and they don't have the same components. But I love it. Like version 2, because you kind of would want to land if you were doing exploration, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Love it. Ooh, threefold path. Those Vulcans not necessarily from the same universe as Lily.
That's true. I hate how she's exploring other quantum realities and dimensions, but she doesn't know what a warp drive is, even after exploring all these other ones.
That's true. Well, but she does say, and this is a hard one to swallow, like, it's the prime directive of not interacting with people who don't know how to travel universes. So, if you're only meeting those people, then they also might not have done warp. And therefore she met Vulcans from that. Because there's always that logic of every universe is a new choice, right? So the branches are closer to each other, the different trees of choices. So if we are in our pocket where warp was a thing, but she actually comes from a universe 18,000 away where universe travel is the thing, and she's gone so far out of her bubble set that no one has that tech. I could see the logic there. But then I wish it was like Anorax from Voyager. Like she's saying, I've been traveling for 160 years because time is relative when you're traveling dimensions, or what, you know, like and she's just out of it. You know, the green tubes equal no aging. Like you could do a lot of fun with that, but then still no warp is a hard. Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Interesting.
We get more of this Curzon and T'Pol dynamic. You'd like that, wouldn't you? I would not.
I bet Jolene's like, what am I saying? What have you got me saying? And back after 30 years, I'm arguing with some old guy who I don't know who he is. Like, it's wonderfully random, right? I love it. It's so strange.
Sasagura 2000 throws in €2. Thank you. Even space freighters have turrets.
Yeah. Fair.
Let me find out that unobserved complex gluon cores are what are responsible for the quantum reality shifting. Anyway, so yeah. Thought I'd mention it at least.
I definitely think that's reference to Rick and Morty, with it being the same, like almost the same vibe entirely.
Yeah.
And I just noticed they're using TOS tools on the outside of the ship, and I can see the TOS classic 3-prong thing on the inside too, with Lily in the box.
And the one that Paul's holding as well.
Yeah. I think there is a similar tool in Discovery. They invented a similar one.
There's the talk between Boimler and Lily. It's like about exploring quantum realities. I can't believe you actually want to do that.
Jaded
She's like,
much.
well, multiverse. What's wrong with exploring? It's great. From your point of view, maybe it looks like I'm not going anywhere. I'm just visiting the same place, but it's a good conversation because he's just burnt out on all this quantum reality jumping. So
yeah, I mean, wouldn't you be? Honestly,
maybe.
Like
I'd just be interested to see what Nuts variation was.
Yeah, but if they had said this has been for years now, then that would surely piss you off, right? For that long, it's kind of like if it's only been a few months, fine. But yeah, it feels like it if it's been for years. But I really like it's a really fresh take on multiverse here. I really liked how they approached it. It's a really good scene. Love Lily's enthusiasm. My only issue, this corridor. How big is this corridor? Oh my god! Are you joking? This is
it's not a big ship.
This must be the entire neck, which I guess it could be. But,
probably is, honestly.
But it's an embarrassingly big corridor. It's what, like 15 people wide? Like, why just make it this big, guys? Like, I know you want the camera further away, but NX are very small corridors, and this thing is the same exact corridor setup, which is from the future when they're from. Wasting space, guys. Like, it's just obnoxious. It doesn't make sense. It pulls me out of it instantly.
Yeah.
It's too big.
Goes on to say, we don't need to meet new species. It's like, why bother exploring at all? To better understand ourselves.
Yeah.
We've met humans who have built rings around the sun.
That's cool.
Others whose ships are the size of continents.
That's cool.
Anyway, learning all the things humans can be. And yeah, if you're going to different realities, you can see all the different versions of how humanity could be, which is actually very interesting and intriguing. I wish they had said at the beginning of the season, though, that these rifts were appearing around Earth, Sector 001, like relatively small area. But anyway.
But then also, the Spheres would need to be at Earth for most of the season. You couldn't have those weird stories. I mean, it's hard to know if they included all the logic. There's a few things that was like, well, no sense. And then you get another Kim. I love a little cover like, I'm in the shop too. I was kind of wondering why they weren't being attacked by the creatures at this point, because it's been like a day, it felt like. But small note, just like, why are they not attacked? But that's fine.
Why aren't the creatures in this ship?
Oh, yeah. They're very safe, is what I'm trying to say.
Anyway, they're outside continuing their conversation. They say, look, your friendship with Mariner transcends realities. You have a trust with her and friendship.
Love that. It's really sweet. It's really nice. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are special.
And then somebody steals the ring ship.
Oh no.
It's cool to see the rings like. You got USS Beagle written on the inside of one of the rings, which they mentioned Beagle soon.
Beagle soon? Is that a new android?
And I heard it the first time, but I wasn't sure if they were talking about the name of the ship or if I misheard it. But yes, it is the USS Beagle. So. Mm-hmm.
And boy, Mariner, as it starts to take off, she's real high up. That's a hell of a fall.
But she's falling into a bog, yeah.
And I was going to say this in another episode, but I didn't think it was necessarily worth it. When the live comes back up, that one shot of it moving up, there's a Phoenix-style detailing on the neck, which I like. It's the one bit of the ship we see close up. It's like, oh, that's the Phoenix sort of engine detail, which I thought was quite sweet.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it takes off and the rings move beautifully, really wonderful. I love, and that's why the structures are there. Really fun, yeah. And then they F off, and it's like, who stole the ship? Let's go, 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 go. And no one thinks where Kim is, because all the Kims are gone, but no one cares because there are only Kims. Run! You'd think they noticed there are no Kims, to be honest, but that's okay.
Yeah. But then they get back to the knacks, as they call it. And you get to see the landing ledge, you get to see that lowered elevator portion. And Curzon stays to fight off these things, gets everybody in. It's like, be careful.
He's having a happy time stabbing semi-innocent alien creatures with lightning sticks.
And when they're in the... sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah.
I say when they're in the turbo lift, if you look, all their pants are wet up to like almost the knees. And the next scene when they're on the bridge, it's all fine again.
Well, I haven't heard of the auto-dry corridors, all the bottom vents go so as you run through the halls, yeah.
As you go up through the hull, it does like a baryon sweep of your body.
Oh, yeah.
Not baryons, it takes off all the dirt and water.
Yeah, I mean, it's just H2O, right? It just zaps all the water out of your skin. I mean, what? That's bad. But they get to the bridge, good moment, and Mariner's complaining because she doesn't normally do this much, like, kinetic exercise.
Yeah, wading through bogs.
But just the idea that she doesn't go out much. It's a small little thing, but I like that. It's a fun little reference. And yes, and I did you guess it was Kim's? I assume have to have guessed it was Kim who stole it.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah. Hit all frequencies! And what a shot. 7 Kims on a defiant view screen, an X bridge. What?
Yeah, his motivation is he wants to take all these beautiful Kims back to their home universes where they aren't. He wants them back to his universe where they won't be overlooked and disrespected.
It wasn't my idea, Captain. Shut up, you!
Yeah.
Oh, Kim's easy lid, apparently. Now, this is when I have one of my first big plot hole problems that only occurred to me second watch. See if you agree with this. So, they've just left the planet, right? An impulse, right?
Yes.
And I think it's fair to assume that within maybe 5... Well, I guess they had to run. I mean, can we say 5 minutes they're chasing them? 10 minutes they're chasing them? 4 minutes?
10, 15, I don't know how... Well, 400... I think they say earlier 400 meters away.
Okay,
that's where the other ship was.
That's pretty close. Although we didn't... Anyway. But, like, it wasn't like you had an hour head start, right? It was pretty small, right? The Defiant is a 300-year more advanced ship. How exactly is there an inachievable lead that they can't impulse past? The speed differential will be so unbelievably comparative. Like, how is Defiant able to catch up with them without like a 10-hour lead? And even so, like, is that not a plot hole that this ring ship can out impulse drive the Defiant at full impulse with maybe a few minutes head start? That was the entire point at the end of the episode. It's like, but how?
Good question.
Yeah, that one just hit me because like that doesn't really make sense.
Spewing engineering nonsense at me doesn't work. I've got 2 pips. They're like, the Beagle can't handle it. It doesn't. We haven't finished the repairs.
Oh, bye, Raj. See you later. But isn't Kim the guy that would understand that because he's a good generalist? I mean, I think Kim would not, you know. Just saying, that's not what Kim would say. This is not our Kim. That's fine.
Then Curzon comes up, and he's ordered to the helm. He's like, oh, I should have stretched before that workout.
He's fine, right? He's totally fine?
I think so.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, they leave. Looks great. They shoot at it, yeah. Cool scene. Oh, it's only 11,000 kilometers away. That's not very far. And they can't beat it. Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, the Beagle won't actually create a new rift until it's out of the gravity well of the planet. Even though Kim keeps trying and the ship's like falling apart.
I can't do that, Dave.
So Mariner asks if she can go down to engineering and juice the engines.
I love how much go-getter she is. It's really nice.
Threefold path, 5 pounds. Love that we have seen Boimler doing the Riker maneuver and the Picard facepalm this season. Yeah.
He Riker maneuvered? Oh, Picard maneuvered?
The alternate reality, or the beard Boimler.
Oh, before he sat down.
Yeah. And Sussy Guru 2000, another 5 pounds, €5. Sorry. I think the Defiant is still damaged from previously, and the Salamander's stabbing everything. Sure.
It's a very specific system to be damaged, though, the impulse engines. Given the warp drive, shields, and weapons are all fine. I like that, but I wish it said, impulse engines are down to 10%. We can't catch them now at that speed. Because otherwise it's like, but you can catch them. Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, then they are literally flying it apart. As it can't take it.
This very un-Kim-like behavior, pal.
Shut up, Harry!
Shut up, Harry. You shut up, Harry.
Ankle bridge, we'll look at another day, of course. A lot of Kims. And then Kim's hair goes crazy to be evil.
Of course.
Oh, and did you notice as the Defiant flies over, the lighting rendering breaks and the bottom, like there's...
Yeah, I saw that. I was just looking at that.
It's like, that's in shadow, guys. I love how they... And also the red and green blink is wrong around again. Does it keep missing? Yeah, they need a bit more checking sometimes their renders because they break sometimes. Like in Prodigy, when they forgot to render the impulse engines of the Sovereigns. And it's like, just turn that layer back on, guys. It's kind of important. And the one time, Taunted Jellicoe in Prodigy, they didn't have the pylons rendered. It's like, well, you kind of need pylons in a... Check the renders, guys, although everything's rendered. But whatever.
I could make a statement here about the Foley's class pylons in one scene, but I'll be quiet now.
Hey, I didn't break them.
I'm just saying.
And I can't fix them either, so that was not me, Stuart. That was the model. Different thing. Why no chief engineer? Or anybody in engineering besides Mariner?
Good question. Would have been one of the Kims.
Should have been one of the Kims. He's totally an And that I would have loved if there was just... I know it sounds like just more Kim work. Like, if there'd been like an old engineering Kim who's that, I'm too old to young weedy whippersnapper, and it's like, how are you old? Well, I was in a time dilation field for 42 years. Slanson? Yes. Like, you could have played with Kim more. That sounds dirty. You could have played the idea of Kim more. That's okay.
Yeah. We see him activate the drive. Captain's chair.
Yes. And I like the sound effect. It's all very retro. Oh, and yeah, that's weird. You are right. There's NXL cars literally next to TMPL cars.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't make a lick of sense. Huh.
Nope. Threefold path, 5 pounds. I know it is a small thing, but I was really disappointed we did not see the pulse cannons fire, although thought they were so cool.
Well, they did fire as alternate universe cannons, but they don't have any pulse cannons. Just noticed, though, Stuart, in this visual of the gravitational distortion, the Defiant is the wrong way around. The graphics person is it mirrored.
Yeah.
Guys, we know you're busy, but we just caught lots of errors in this episode. Oopsie-doodle. Oopsie-doodle. Oh well. That's the problem with canon, right? That's now canon, that they're flying that way. But they're not, right? That's just a mistake. Take it for the mistake it is.
Computer's still broken from the damage. It's fine.
And then it exploded.
So anyway, Mariner jumps on it and says, look, the Beagle's creating waves of gravitational disturbance. If I increase the gravitational well around our engine core, it'll protect it from tachyons. So I can crank the gravity up by 10. Mass matters.
Not sure quite how they did this, but that's okay.
It's fine.
It worked okay. Well, I kind of wish they'd worked out that Bashir was not affected and used him earlier. Because, like, yeah. It's fine. But 3-4 paths. So that is why they couldn't catch up with them. They're flying backwards. Yes.
That's fine.
Flying a reverse impulse. But I love this graphic of Mariner on the view screen. I mean, it's the thumbnail, right? But I love this. It's just a really cool, fun, like, dynamic graphic with Curson Tax flying and bloody Boimler. That's cool.
Anyway, yes. So now he's warp us now, and Curzon passes out.
Yeah. Great engine room. Really good recreation. Yeah, poor Curzon. Because Boimler did fly the ship, so it does make sense that he could do this. And they do a very DS9 style warp jump. It's a cool effect. It looks really good. Well, they don't warp right next to it, which they could have done. They're slightly quite far away.
Oh, that happens all the time. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's just the one time we see it in DS9, it literally warps up into the runabout, and that's like the shot. So I was like, oh, yeah. Far away. Cool though. Yeah, great looking warp core.
Mm-hmm. And then Garrett can't do anything for Dax. If they had more time, but
quite sad actually. I was genuinely like, yeah, I was actually quite, sad he was going to die. And then you get the catharsis of, it's fine, Garrick will go to aid the universe, wherever you are. Yes, Doctor, wherever you are. What? Yes. But
why are we arguing? It's fun.
No, it's not. But I don't think you'd marry him unless you knew he was an argumentative prick. But it's a fun wrap up. It is a fun. It's a good little closing of their like non-needed arc. But it's nice.
Yeah.
Evil Kim. It's not very tight all of a sudden with his eye bags.
He gets mutinied by all the other Kims, and then he beams them off because who needs them? Well, he doesn't beam them off yet. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself because there's so quick cuts here.
Yes. And it's funny how the jumpsuit, the flight suit Kim is the one that beats him up of all the Kims.
Yeah.
Pulls a phaser himself, yeah. Crazy. Garrett, yes. We want you to play 7 Kims. Kim. Oh. Okay then. But yes, a sad scene, Stuart. Oh.
It is. We've been friends since we first met. I'm going to take the memories from Dax itself. And she goes to mind meld.
The death of an icon.
Uh-huh.
And it's a good little death scene. Actually, it kind of is. It works well. And I'm not happy about it.
Yeah. But then back to the Kims, and he's like, you know why you're all still ensigns? This is why. You guys don't deserve to come with me. And he beams them out.
How rude.
Yeah.
Oh, I had another problem with this moment. Can you guess what it is?
Oh my god. Not with you, no. The tractor beam, they're too far away to tractor beam.
No. Why is a pre-NX era ship beaming them away with a Cerrito-style beam effect, and they beam in with a Voyager era DS9 effect? That's not how beaming works.
Didn't even notice that.
Because that means that he's beaming them out, which means they beam in with the beaming effect from the ship they beamed in. You don't beam in using both effects unless you're tying into their transporter, but even then you wouldn't always do that. It'd be whatever they're beaming you into. I just thought it was really odd to go between 2 different effects and it not be the NX effect. Like it's the Cerritos effect beamed to the Voyager effect.
You're not wrong.
And they shouldn't have transporters really that early is weird, and yeah. It was a real big choice, and I was like, that's a weird choice.
Yes.
But I love how the Kims are all friends now. And also, it amuses me that some of the Kims go back to the back of the bridge. Those aren't consoles. That's a table and chair. They're very diligently standing at a table. There's probably some sort of console there, but it's like, that's just a table, guys. There's nothing there all the time. Race pilot, Kim's the pilot. I love that. I didn't see it before. Yeah, Kim.
Who knows what tech that multiverse ship has? Well, you're not wrong. Because they have been to other... Maybe they've acquired some tech from other realities, sure.
Yeah, never seen warp.
And don't know what a warp core is, yeah.
Because isn't it implied that transporters were invented because of the warp core allowed for so much power to be created you could just spend it on beaming?
Maybe.
I think that's implied because that was a giant advancement in tech. With fusion generators only, I don't know if you could do beaming with fusion generators. Except like really advanced ones from later eras. I don't know. It just really started to me like huh? Now if it'd been NX beaming into Voyager beaming, I'm like, okay. But it wasn't. It was Cerritos beaming for some reason. Then you get Evil Kim, who looks fantastic.
I'm Harry fucking Kim. And you don't get to order me around. Boom.
This must have been them paying homage to the fact they had both Garrett Wang and Tom Paris actors set, similar sort of ending craziness years apart, 1 year apart. That felt lovely. Like, we know what we're doing here. We're Delta flying it up. But he's definitely not the smartest Kim, because our Kim wouldn't do this, right? In various reasons, but he's smart on this.
Yes.
And then it goes kablooey, and he explodes, and it's like, oh no! Great explosion though. Great
red, pink, evil looking thing.
What do you think the timeline wraiths are doing from Prodigy at this point with all of the universe, or every universe?
Licking their chops.
Because they're about to kill every universe in existence.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about Lower Decks being the show that has small stakes. They're about to kill everything everywhere all at once. Huh.
That's a movie.
What?
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh,
Michelle Yeoh from Section 31. Wow, the tie-ins.
Empress Giorgio. Yeah. But even second watch, I'm like, this is a small show about small crew. They're killing everything. Possibly. Well, at this point, they are going to kill everything. Wow, you went big.
Yeah. And then T'Pol is like, that's more Katra than I anticipated. And I'll pass it on. Don't worry. You're not so bad for a Vulcan.
For a Vulcan. That's a good last line. But I mean, boy, what a setup. Like, give us the payoff to that. I feel like I need to see, like I said, Jadzia or Ezri. Need something there. It would be amazing. It's just so committed to.
And they're like, Boimler says, Lily, what's happening?
Bad things.
Soliton waves are going to spread across all quantum realities and destroy everything. It's like, oh, shit. That's bad, okay? Yep. But there's a solution.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Did you have a solution, or is that just a general solution?
Yes. If we use the Soliton beam, or a directed Soliton burst, we could guide the wave into a single reality. So you won't be doing an entire universe, but not all of them.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Can I just point out, ouch. But I was kind of vibing that was what was going to happen at this point anyway. I was like, that's kind of sweet, actually. Like, it makes sense from a narrative perspective. And he's the only one that can ethically say that. He's from his universe. But there's probably some universe out there with nobody in it. That's the nature of the multiverse, right? Or where the Borg took over everything. It's like, fine.
But they need a reality that can respond to the threat. So Boimler decides to send it to his reality because he's there. Well, the other version of him.
Have the Mariner tribute.
Rutherford and Tendi. And he knows that they can handle it.
Oh, yeah. Lanian says, also, wasn't Defiance shields up? They beamed through us too.
Yeah.
Good point. Didn't think
I don't know if they were up because the other ship didn't have shields, so I'd assume they wouldn't have weapons. That could be a threat, so I don't know if they had it up. I was going to bring that up, but then I thought,
Yeah, I mean, it's also Kim's. Like, they're not going to try and kill us? Yeah. We're also approaching an alternate universe dimension gate. You'd think there'd be shields up just to not die.
Yeah. Yeah, the thought crossed my mind the first time I watched it, and then I'm like, I'm not too worried about it. And I thought about mentioning it here, and just, didn't feel like it was worth the discussion.
But it was. There you go. Good. That's why you guys are here, right? But yeah, he volunteers, and I love the reaction. They're like, you can't do that. It's like, well, what are you suggesting else?
Yeah. Why would you do that to your friends? And Lily's like, because he trusts them.
Mm-hmm. But also, we said earlier in the episode that, or Lily said, sorry, that she's the one that can help them get home, which is odd because that was never an issue. Like, they can go home with their own beam. It's not. She doesn't know that, of course, but it's never been said they're lost. They're just traveling, whatever. But the fact they can actively pick a universe, which means that they can go where they want to, means they should just be able to go home right away in the next episode and help. Because it would be very dickish of Boimler not to say, and we'll go help. Right? Because you got a ship
Oh.
that deals with this stuff and a crew that's been dealing with it for 6 months, so you would definitely be in next episode, surely.
The interesting thing too is that the Beagle's now destroyed, so Lily doesn't have a way home unless the ship takes her home. And then what are they going to do? Like the Federation is kind of built on that. I don't know if this is the only ship or if there's multiple ships that have the quantum drive, but
And I would assume
maybe
there's
maybe they'll introduce them to warp and say, now go explore, do your thing.
But I mean that Prime Directive stuff, you know.
Well, they have well.
No, they don't. They don't. I know it's tricky, but yeah, that's the problem. There was such a good arc of these people. I want to see Lily returned home, and maybe see Zephyryn's old man Zephyryn. Oh, Lily, you're back. But he was throwing money at people. But so, yes, but they're interesting characters. And Tendi and Rutherford have been so lackluster. But they're the leads. But are they?
Scottish Nightmare says, sent it to the Discoverse. Yeah, if it gets destroyed, too bad. And if Michael Burnham finds it, she'll of course solve the problem, so it won't be a problem anyway.
That is a hell of a throw. I didn't even think of that. They could have destroyed the Discoverse just then and there. Wow.
I thought this was going to tie. For a second, I thought, okay, this is a pretty just reality thing, right? Is this the real cause of the burn? The Soliton beam comes through and it doesn't actually destroy the universe per se. Just, I don't know. For a second, I thought that could be a thing.
I never once thought of that, but this was an absolute in to include the Discoverse in some active way. That is very clever, yet also, yay, we did our own thing. That's hilarious. Good point.
It should be fine. I've sent a message to my counterpart. As long as he doesn't freak out.
And I mean, personally, right, I assumed they weren't going to freak out. I thought he was going to just take it and take it on the nose. He's going to accept her. He's going to move forward. And it was going to be really great, right? No issue. What do you think was going to happen with our Boimler? You know, the professional that he is.
I thought this was going to happen. But I didn't expect it to end here necessarily. Yeah, holy shit, we're all going to die. And he just takes off.
And shatters stuff.
Yeah.
While showing Margarita. And I think they're trying to do best of both worlds there with the ending. I think I need one more beat, narrative-wise, to give that closing moment. One more, I'm not sure what. No, like you said, like we said earlier, of Boimler. This is Captain Boimler seeking other Boimler. What? Like that would have been. But you know, still pretty good. And that is episode 9.
To be continued. Dun, 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 dun.
Next week, in a few days. The end of Lower Decks. For now, hopefully.
Yes, indeed.
Wow. So what do people do, Stuart? And how can they help us? Because help is good.
You guys can super chat in right now with your scores out of 10 for this episode. We're going to do our wrap-ups and our scoring, and we want you to do the same. I want to read out some super chat scores. Please put them in right now. $5, whatever. Throw in a score. We'd appreciate it. Also, make sure you hit the like button, do all the things, and yeah. You know what I'm going to say because you're here all the time. And if you're new here, super chat in with your scores out of 10 because we want to read them.
And if you're not here all the time, why aren't you here all the time?
Yeah.
You should be. Every day. Just passively watch us. It's great.
Anywho.
Okay, now last question before I ask you the big question. How do you feel now after this review with the question of will the next episode make or break it? How do you feel about that?
I still think that this is a good episode as it is. Yes, it will hinge kind of on the next episode, but this was really fun to watch, especially that first time experiencing it. From now on, moving forward after the next week, we'll always have that context of how it ends, right? But it's still, there's a lot of standout stuff in this episode that I think is really fun. I can't see them ruining it, especially Mike McMahon and his team. I know they do really good stuff, and they always kind of throw us curveballs with the way they do things. So I think it'll be fine.
Personally, I don't even know what to think. That might sound a bit silly, but they could take it in so many directions. We couldn't have predicted this. There was no setup for this at all. right? They didn't leave a single clue for Lily or the ship, like entirely, right? It's just boom, here we go. It could be an amazing, weird thing. It could be our characters, it could be new characters, it could be old characters. It could have everybody, it could be this giant... Everyone could hug on the Discovery Bridge for some reason. Really blow our minds. You know, just one big hugging scene. Very, very quick to get. You'd have to get any voiceover for that. But I think this one is going to be remembered for the Trek factor as what Lower Decks could have been if they'd committed every time. As kind of like the outlier of... This could have been Lower Decks more often. But it's a present, right? To have all this stuff. And it was a good balance of fun within that present. But Stuart, your closing thoughts, and has our discussion for the last 2 hours changed your opinion? And of course, what do you give out of 10? What do you think, Stuart, after our review?
It hasn't changed my opinion talking about it. If anything, it's kind of solidified it a little bit. Sure, there are a few things here and there that are a little bit could have been fixed or should have been explained. Yeah, especially visually, that a lot of people won't necessarily know unless they watch our videos. But it was really fun. And the fact that they got Jolene back for T'Pol after all these years of her really not doing anything Star Trek related or acting related.
Or bloody conventions.
Never. But I mean Star Trek related.
Never had the chance to meet her.
Yeah. So that was fantastic. And, you know, Garrick, Basher, there's some really hard hitters in here that are fun and weren't expected at all. Like, they did kind of stack the deck a little bit with cameos. Hopefully there will be one or two more in the next episode. I would love to see the Forge return, or B'Elanna, or somebody to help with this problem. I think that would be fantastic. Will they do it? I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But I also wouldn't be disappointed if they didn't necessarily after this episode, because we got a lot of legacies back. So it's one of those situations. Other than that, I loved Lily returning. I loved the ring ship, the quantum reality drive. All that kind of stuff is really cool. And seeing a Defiant that can now, or a Defiant class that can land, that's a cool feature. I'm actually upset that we didn't see it in Deep Space Nine. Would have been cool. I hope we get our Kim in the next episode as well, and that he helps solve the problem. And as a result of that, maybe gets a promotion, because what a perfect way to end Lower Decks with the Forever Ensign getting a promotion in our reality. That'd be kind of neat. Would it steal Thunder? I don't think so. Not if, you know, Rutherford and all that team are the main ones behind the problem solving. I think it would still be, you know, a much deserved promotion. But yeah. Score-wise, oh geez, I'm going to give this a 9.7 out of 10 for this season. No, for the season, 9.8. For all of Lower Decks, still up there. I'll give it a 9.5. So yeah. What about you? I know this is kind of something that a lot of times we say, what would we do, or what would you do? And you like bring this person back and this person back and have them do this and that. So is this something that you enjoyed? And does it feel better now having talked about it? Have your thoughts changed at all?
It's going to need next week. I think that's what I've come to at the end of this, because, as we said, there's so many setups this episode that if they're left as a, well, you can fill in the gaps yourself, I'll say, no, you've set up a Trill Cutra in T'Pol from the universe who married Trip. I want to see that. I want to see even just a 1 minute montage of everyone finishing their arc, because they were all so effectively used, even if they were sillily used, as in, who cares about Salt? But it was done intentionally, feeling. So I'm going to be... Their expectation from me next week is they're all going to return. We're going to close all those arcs. You're right. Rutherford's going to be the solution to the problem. Boimler's going to have his arc, shave the beard and back to himself, based on the other white guy. Maybe this new Boimler will sacrifice himself to solve the problem. That would be work as well, right? Like, there's a few things. Oh, I just realised. Two William clones combined two different Defiant classes. I just realised that. That's kind of cool. Like, there's things this thing, as a narrative creative stories, they kind of need to do for it to work in my head. Now, they could do stuff that's totally unexpected, but there's so many setups that if they're abandoned because that's the big fun episode, I'll be disappointed. Because then don't do them the way you did them, then do them some other way, right? Or do them more for laughs, or do more small things, right? So they need to do certain things that's sweet to be satisfying versus ignoring them and just doing whatever. So that will be very interesting to see. Very, very interesting to see. Will they end with a cliffhanger for a movie? Will they end on a note? I don't know, right? Lodex does tend to have cliffhangers.
I would be expecting a post-credits scene after the next episode.
I mean, Lower Decks has been such a fan favourite, you'd think CBS would give them some money to do. If Discovery got some reshoots, some additional shooting, why the hell wouldn't Lower Decks when it's infinitely cheaper, quicker, and easier to do? You know, whatever. It was a good episode. It was a fun episode, but it felt like a movie that got cut in the middle. And again, guys, put your super chats for what your thoughts are. I want to, fuel would be great. So, I guess I'm reserving my score for next week. It's not the best story of the season, probably, because it's revolving around the fun of the multiverse, not as much its own story. And I think had it not been the universes, it'll be dead. Like, I like that in general, but when you go to the grandest problem ever, like, this kind of beats Discovery's greatest plot lines of destruction, Picard's, and all those plot lines, right? I guess it's even more than Prodigy, because there's only some universes are going to get killed. This is all universes, right? So it's
Yeah.
I still think Ways of Douche is better. I think it was more creative and clever and betterly written.
Yes, that's true.
So there are better episodes that just happen to hit the nail on the head, right? They just do something a bit better. But this is what Lodex could have been had it been kitchen sink, but with cleverness, right? But I do think next episode is going to help redefine this. If this is the best of the season because it's the most fun, cool. Is the best story? No, but you can't not give everyone credit. I don't know why Bashir doesn't hire Bashir. Garrick was spectacular. I hope at least he's back because he was really freaking good. Like, properly great. Jolene was beautiful to see. Wonderful. I hope I really want to see more Kim. As always, it's just a general thing. Yes, great, but I wait for next week. And I guess how I was like, I think in our retrospective of the season as well, because again, I started this review with, if they saved money to make this episode, like Picard kind of did, with the Enterprise D-Bridge, right? Yeah. I get the logic, but just like Picard, other episodes let it down when they could have bounced out the budget better, or at least whatever. And I do think they should have played the long arc of this. I would love to have seen the Ring Ship episode 1 with Lily coming in, doing some weird alternate universe stuff, and like feeling the desperation of her character as they keep traveling or whatever, or being chased, or something really fun to kind of pull through the season, not just last 2 episodes, which kind of make it honestly feel like Picard as well, this big epic endings movie. But where was this fun the rest of the season? And there's a plot hole of how there are loads of new rifts in our universe. That's entirely unexplained, not even a hint of that. So that's a giant thing to explain next week, is why we have 130 ruptures in our one universe when they're trying different universes. That doesn't make sense. Interesting, that's resolved. Score-wise, I mean, the season's not been the best, so obviously it'll be high for the season. That's a slightly stacked score anyway. It's obviously in the 9s. I mean, obviously. I probably enjoyed the Data episode more because it was cleverer as a simple tale. This is the other side of the coin, right? This is more Trek and more fun. But I think I've got to give that a slight bit more. I felt more satisfied probably with that because it was all our characters except Data. Okay, I'm gonna give this 0.5 less than that episode. Because it's hard to justify it's better, but I think I like that one better just from a pure storytelling point of view. So 9.55 for this season. And all Lower Decks. I need to see other Lower Decks scores. I was going to be at least 9.3, right? I think but this would be worth us actually going back to Lower Decks, like top 10 episodes, and re-reviewing the 10 best. This sort of one, like, how do you really compare them all in comparison?
At some point, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, nine's obviously 9's across the board, right? It's a 9 show for sure.
All right, well, let's see what you guys are doing here.
Yeah.
Sexy Guru 2000, €5. 10 out of 10. Mark Lawrence, $5. Could even be the Grand Negus that solves the problem. I've already seen him though. Let's get somebody new. But
Brunt.
yeah.
Brunt is back. FDA.
Yes. Anyway, going to read some non-super chat
I
scores.
do. Let's see what you guys are saying. And one more super chat would be great. One more to help us up. Aussie says 10 and Mum gives 10. So it's 10s across the board. They love it. / perfect. Donnie gives it a 10, of course. The fake Donnie score is always a 10. Stanley's 9 out of 10. Chuck, 10 out of 10, all universes. Devereaux, 9 out of 10. Joseph, 9.1. A harsh 9.1. Boy, if every episode was 9.1, it'd be having a good thing. So Donnie gives it a 10, of course, for season 5, but 9.75 for all low decks. So he does hate it a little bit in the grand scheme because 9.75 is very low for him.
True.
Zachary waits the second part to judge it. Yep. Zachary 9.975. He's Prometheus-ing it. General Grievous 9.8. And Mr. Captain 9.998. There's a little room for better. Little room. Okay, last question to you then. Will next week's episode be a better episode and get a higher score?
It could very well.
Because that is a very high mountain to climb. We'll just put it on.
Next week we're gonna have another scoring metric as well as for a series finale.
Yes.
10 for series finale. See how it is as well. So we'll have best of season or the season score, series score, and series finale score.
But obviously it fits in the category of unknown season enders. Enterprise is not meant to be the last. This is not meant to be the last. Prodigy half was, half wasn't. Ambiguous. Discovery allowed to be the last. But final poll results. 48.9 votes is an amazing episode for the big reason. 51% say the legacy actors, 27% the story, and 22% Boimler. I'm paying off that.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it. Like I said, please join us on Sunday when we do Drunkyards, and
Yes.
keep your eyes out this weekend for other content from us, of course, as always.
Yes. If you're around on Sunday, check us out, say hi.
And be here next Friday.
Yes. Please do. Absolutely. Stuff is going to happen.
All right, guys. We will see you later. So until next time, he's Commander Cockings.
He's kind of funny.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.